Hello, this is a video on how to use the support system in EmpowerDB. You're going to be told a lot of very particular information here, and I know it might sound like a lot, but paying attention to this is going to be really so appreciated on our end, so that we can really provide you with the most efficient and helpful support back. So the first thing that we need to talk about here is when should you use the database support system. Basically, if it's related to you and using the database, it should be done in the database support system. The only exceptions are things like billing questions or, oh, hey, did you get the invoice, kind of thing like that, or just chatting about general other things that aren't related to the database. So pretty much everything is going to be in the database support system. The link to the support system is right here, database support. Any user who is a program administrator or a site administrator will have access to this link. Standard users and reporting users will not see this link and cannot use the database support system. And I guess the other thing is, when should you start using it? As soon as your site's setup phase is finished. So, in the early stages, when we're first getting you on the system, it's a lot of back and forth emails to get you set up. Though that's fine being emails, but pretty much as soon as you are going live with real data, you should be using database support. If you are being sent the link to this video by somebody in EmpowerDB, that means that time is now. Everything should now be put into the database support system when you have questions about something. So we're going to click on database support, and we're going to see what we have here. So this is an example of maybe there's our question already here about the vocal report. Okay, we can add in a new topic from the top left and say, okay, add a new topic. And we have the option to put in a subject. So examples of good subjects are problem when adding new client, or question about notes feature. Examples of bad subjects are help, problem, quick thing. Make the subject be actually descriptive of what your question really is. So let's just say like question about variable query report. Okay, it's going to assume that you want to send it to us, but you can pick other database administrators in your site to have this message be sent to. And then the message that you want to send us. So just feel free to please give as much details as you possibly can about what your question is. We talk with a lot of people, we have lots of clients, and it can be hard to remember every single thing about every single client. So as much kind of background as you can give us as to what you're describing and would be very helpful. The thing that's the most helpful and try really hard to make essentially be required for you to send us is links to the pages that you're talking about. So instead of saying, when I ran a report, I got weird results, what's happening? We're not going to know what you're talking about there. We need to see a link to the page that you're talking about. So you would go to the report and you would take just this link and you would copy it and you would say something like, see here, and then you put the link. If you're referencing a client in the database, like why isn't this client showing up, you would go to that client's page, copy their link, and put it in. You could also use client numbers. You could say, why isn't client number 171 showing up? And that's fine too. If you can see client numbers, when you look up a client and you're at their basic information page, right underneath there is their client ID, 171. So either a client number, like this, or just the link to their client record tells us who you're looking at. Please do not use client names in your support messages. There's a couple reasons for this. The first is these messages go through email and get stored on the server not in an encrypted way. So these are not secure messages, and I just don't want client names going through emails or being stored unencrypted on the server. The second is, if we don't have your encryption key, we can't see your client name. So if you tell us, please check out Jane Doe's record, we don't even know who that is. So you have to tell us a client number in order to even know who you're talking about. And to make it so that we really, really make sure that we get those links and that you don't use client names, down at the bottom, we ask you to please confirm, did you include links to the pages you're referencing? Yes, I like making the support process easier on you. Did you include client names in your message? No, I use client numbers or links instead of names. Sorry about that. This ended up being a pretty necessary thing to make absolutely sure that you're doing this. Okay, so you would click to submit the new topic. Let's just do it. And there it goes. So there's the message, and now we will receive an email notification about your request message, and we'll get back to you when we can. When we respond to you, you will get an email notification of that response. You can respond to that email notification. So in essence, you only need to begin a support topic through the support system. So once you receive that email notification from us back, when you respond to it, it should automatically get added to your list of things that you've asked us here. And so you could also just come back to the database and put in a response. So you can, either way is fine. Oh, I also forgot about this, and give us that response there. Let's say you're asking a question about something that there's already a topic for. Please do not click add a new topic. Let's say you have another question about the Vocal Quarterly Report. Go back to this report and say, I have another question, so and so. Okay, so we're trying to get really organized and have everything be in very predictable and easy to find places. So let's see. When we click on Vocal Quarterly Report here, this is an example of sometimes, depending on what your question was, if it was something that you needed, unless it was a problem with the database, you'll likely get a little notice about any kind of charges that were associated with that request. So this says it's okay, we responded, it took us a half an hour to respond, your rate $60 an hour, which means $30. And that was, here's a little bit of more of a note as to what we did. This does not mean that you are suddenly getting an invoice. We will invoice quarterly. This just is a way for you to keep tabs on the things that resulted in charges. So over on the right side of the support system is a list of to be invoiced work that you've had. So once you're have that quarterly invoice, you will receive an email notification about that, and then you will see that represented here saying, okay, this was all invoiced on your invoice on June 30th or whatever it was. Other things to talk about on this right side here, here's a look at my schedule for the next 30 days or so. This can be used for two ways. Let's say you are trying to schedule a meeting with me. Feel free to just look at this and say, he doesn't have anything on Friday, August 12th, and say, can we talk at Friday at 10 a.m.? You can really just assume that if it looks blank, I'm free. You don't need to ask, like, are you free Friday, August 12th? Yes, I am. If you are in the Boston area, do check with me first, though, about whether I'm free for an on-site meeting, because that's obviously your travel time, a little more complicated. The other thing that this can be used for is, let's say you've asked a question and I'm not responding to you in a day or two. This would probably give you some clues as to why. Oh, he's got a morning phone call today and then another afternoon phone call. He's probably really busy. Obviously, anything that's really urgent, I make sure to respond to right away as soon as I possibly can. But looking at my schedule will give you kind of an indication about why some maybe non-urgent things are taking maybe a day or two to get back to you on. The last thing to talk about here is a wish list item. So let's say we've talked about this report and I've responded that whatever you're talking about is something that's just not possible to do on the report right now, but maybe sometime in the future. So you could click to say, add this to my wish list. So now up here on your wish list, we have, you know, this support topic. So this is kind of reminding me that this is something that you would like to have worked on in the future. You should not, you know, right away add in a new topic, say error adding a client, and then to add this to your wish list. You know, obviously something that you have asked right away you want to be done. There's no need to, you know, do an extra thing saying I wish for this to be done. This is only for things that we've already gone back and forth and discussed won't be possible right now, and you want to have this be worked on in the future. If you have more than one item on your wish list, you will be able to click and drag them around to specify which order you prefer things to be worked on. Let's see, what else? You can click on, so let's say we've talked about this vocal quarterly report and you're totally done. You don't need this to be, you're all settled with this. You can say archive topic. And now only this item, which is still pending, will be in your list of items that we can see here. But we can switch this on and say archived. So now we can see both the pending and the archived if you ever want to look back on this. You can also archive things by just clicking this little archive button right there. All right, and so now all of your questions are archived and your pending topics are really nice and clean. Now let's talk about, you know, you want to do a search and say, okay, have we ever talked about the vocal report before? We can click there and we can say, oh yes, we have, it was on this topic. We can click there and we can read more about it. So the search will help you out a little bit there as well. All right, that's it. Again, please just be organized and just be understanding that the reason why there's so many rules and so many trying to get things done in a certain way here is just because we get so many requests and we want to be able to help in the most efficient way as possible, and you adhering to this kind of makes that possible. And now I've just realized one other thing that I want to talk about, the fact that you cannot put screenshots in here. So let's say you want to show a screenshot of this report and it being strange. I actually do not like screenshots. They're not very helpful. What I really like are links. So just send me this link and that gives me so much of what I need. If it is the case where you've got some strange thing, this is like 1% of the time, and I really need to see a screenshot of it, I will respond back and say, can you please send a screenshot, and I'll kind of go over how best to do that so that I can see it. But don't try to put screenshots in here, just links. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Look forward to helping you soon.